Hello and welcome. I'm Sandy Gallagher, and I'm so happy to be working on this coaching program with Bob Proctor and with you. You know what? The new Lead the Field program is one of the most powerful coaching programs you could ever find. And I know it changed my life. I've got some notes here of things I want to cover. What I want to do here is you've been working with the program for 5 days now. I hope you've been really digging in. But I want to highlight for you a couple things to really focus on in this lesson. So, the first thing is I love the title of this lesson, the magic word. And attitude really is the magic word. When I first learned this lesson from Bob Proctor, I thought I knew what attitude was. You know how you hear, oh, you got to improve your attitude, or a good attitude, you'll win in anything. And, we heard all these things. But man, it's not until you really understand what attitude means that you can consciously and deliberately apply this in your life in all kinds of contexts and get amazing results. Probably the thing that stuck out for me the biggest when I first learned this was the stick person graphic. And you've got that in your workbook. And I learned that for the very first time August 18th, 2006 in Vancouver, Washington. And I will never forget that day. That was my first Bob Proctor seminar. And it was such a transformational experience. I literally could tell you what I was wearing, where I was sitting in the seminar when Bob walked out on stage, and who was at my table, what table I was sitting at. It's like I can just see it in my mind right now because it was so transformational. And Bob started to lead up to the stick person diagram. And he was saying that this is the most powerful thing that he'd ever learned, and that he has executives all over the world that tell him this was a game changer for them. I mean, this really changed it for them, and he's leading up to it, and then the graphic comes on, and I chuckled. I'm like, you're kidding. This graphic can't be that powerful. But you know what? It is. It is. And I now believe that this is one of the most powerful things I have ever learned. So look at the stick person graphic in your workbook, and I want you to think of it in the context of attitude, because that's really where the power is. You've got the stick person graphic, and it shows that energy is coming in. Just this pure, unadulterated energy is flowing to and through you. It's flowing to and through you at all times. And it's what you do with it that's the key in determining your results. So you've got this thought energy. With this thought energy in your conscious mind, you determine an idea. You come up with an idea. And you've got this idea in your conscious mind. Those are your thoughts. And then you impress them on your subconscious mind. And that sets up a vibration. It sets up an emotion. This is how you feel. And how you feel sets up the vibration in your physical body. Now, we're going to really get into this as we get deeper into the program, the law of vibration and its secondary law, the law of attraction. And that's probably the number one law that fascinated me the most and still does. But we'll get into that. But for now, just understand that whatever thoughts you've got that you get emotionally involved with, they set up the action that your physical body, that you move into. And it also sets up an attractive force and attracts back to you the ideas, the resources, and the people that are in harmony with the thought. And so we've got things happening on 3 levels: thoughts in the conscious mind, feeling in the subconscious mind, action in the body. And that sets up our results. And so attitude is the composite of all 3. It's not just our thought. It's not just what we're thinking. And we hear that all the time. Be careful what you're thinking in regards to your attitude. It's not just your thoughts. It's the whole thing. Thoughts, feelings, actions. And understand this. Your thoughts are energy, potent energy. Your feelings, the emotional part of your being, that is energy. And the physical action you take, that is energy. So attitude is energy coming from your body. And so before we understand this, we can't really understand the impact this has. But if you're in a bad mood, that energy you're putting out, it impacts everyone around you. And you could be saying, hi, I want to help you. Hi, what can I do for you? But if your energy is like, I'm in a bad mood, they're going to pick it up. And they're not going to feel good around you. And I really came to realize in studying this lesson that I've always had a pretty good attitude, but I had it unconsciously. And so when I think of the big wins in my life up to this point, I can see that it was my attitude. I would always ask people that I was working with, what can I do to help you? And when I worked in the law firms, as a young apprentice and then as a young associate, I'd walk around all the offices of the lawyers and I'd say, what can I do to help you? Now, they would pick up the energy behind that. I really wanted to help them. It wasn't what I wanted to get out of it. So we want to make sure that our thoughts, feelings, and actions are all lined up and that our attitude is A++. And you know what? The reward is huge. Now, here's one thing to keep in mind with attitude, and it is that if you are focused on things outside of you, very likely you're not going to have a great attitude. And so to have a really great attitude, you want to be focused from the inside out. So really go inside. And I would say maybe 2-3%, maybe as much as 5% of the people do this. Most people, their attitude's determined by what's going on outside them. You don't want to fall into that category. Here's something that Earl Nightingale says in this lesson, and I love it, and I live by this. He says, treat every person as the most important person on earth. Do this for 3 excellent reasons. Number 1, as far as this person is concerned, he or she is the most important person on the earth. Number 2, because this is the way human beings ought to treat each other. And number 3, by treating everyone this way, we form an important habit, and it's so true. And he goes on to say there's nothing in the world that men, women, and children want and need more than self-esteem. The feeling that they're important, that they're needed, that they're respected, that they will give their love, their affection, their respect, and their support to the person who feels this need. That is so powerful, and you want to live by that. I know I do. Now, you have been working with this for 5 days. You've got 5 more days with this particular lesson. And the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. You know, the repetition and the consistency is so important. I have been studying this with Bob Proctor for 11 years, but you know what? It was this year that I really got the power of repetition. And that's because we were studying 2 lessons from Thomas Troward's book, Hidden Power. The lesson on entering into the spirit of it and the lesson on yourself. And we studied it for 6 months straight, 180 days, day in, day out, right through Christmas, right through New Year's. We're on different time zones. It was not at all convenient on many occasions, but we studied it every single day. Then we took a little break, and now we're back at it again. And as we've been doing this, it's like I'm programming it into my subconscious mind. This is my new way of thinking. And it's impacted so many areas of my life. This is what you want to do with this lesson. You got 5 more days to work with it. Make sure you're studying it for at least an hour a day. Listen to the audio. Study the diagrams. Those are what really pulled it together for me. Study those diagrams. Do the exercises and apply what you're learning. Because remember, it's the feedback you get from the change actions that's the real learning. And the rewards will be huge. You want to make sure you're controlling your attitude from the inside, not letting things on the outside control your attitude. You want to work on that every single day. I am really glad to be working with you on this coaching program. I am excited for you with the results you're going to get from this program. And the more you put into it, I guarantee the more you're going to get out of this program. We are in for a wonderful ride, so really give it your all. Thank you.